M0 FXB Andretti.
M0 FXB. Just going off in my car. Normally what I would do is put on Zello or network radios or Echolink. I thought this time I would talk about whether any of those platforms like Peanut is real radio or not, because that's a very common thing here. Is it real radio? So, and everyone's opinion is different, and this is just my opinion. So let's go back to how I got into digital radio. So a couple of years ago I linked up to a local repeater here in Weston called GB, sorry about the wobbly camera, GB3WE, and who had linked up to All Star. And I don't know if you know All Star, but it's run by a group called Hubnet in Manchester, who are a really good group of ham radio enthusiasts. And All Star is linked to all kinds of rooms, whether it's DMR, D-Star Fusion. It's linked everywhere, but it's definitely ham radio only. So you gotta have a license basically. And so I was listening, and I could hear people coming into my local repeater on, and they would say things like, "I'm coming in using Zello," because in the early days Hubnet was connected to Zello, and they would also say Echolink, and there will be different reflector numbers. I'm pretty sure they're on, Hubnet is on TGIF network now, DMR. So after a while I thought, well, I'm going to, what is this Zello? What is this? The other one they were saying was TeamSpeak. What's this TeamSpeak? So after a while, I kept on hearing these words over and over again. I googled Zello, and I found their app on my Windows PC, and I downloaded it and created my account, which is actually called AndyMac6. I didn't even use my ham call sign, and there I was on Zello, and I was searching around thinking, well, what channel, I like ham radio, and eventually I put a search in there that was called network radio, and I ended up joining up this group of channels called network radio, and it was only actually one channel, and it wasn't numbered number one, it was just network radio. And this guy came back to me, G1YPQ, who I had never talked to before, and we got chatting, and I thought, this is a nice friendly guy on this group of channels. We were using ham radio etiquette, and it was just a really good chat, and I thought, I really enjoyed that. So much so I started googling network radios, where I came across this YouTube page by called Ringway Manchester, and there were some reviews on there on different network radios like the TM7 and the TM8 and the T320, and those kind of, it's basically an Android phone in a radio looking walkie-talkie or base station with a microphone, with a PTT. And so I promptly ordered one, and it was a Shure F22. And so I downloaded Zello, and at the time TeamSpeak, and I thought to myself, give this a go, and had a few more contacts, and I was really enjoying it. And at this time I was thinking about selling all my equipment. I had an ICOM 706 Mark II, a TS2000, I think I had FTM 400, I had several radios, and I got into this. And then anyway, eventually I started chatting to lots of people on network radios on Zello, and Harry Paul, who's a M7, I think it's WB something, or WAB, I always forget his call sign. He said to me, get yourself a hotspot. And I thought, well, I don't even know how a hotspot works. I wasn't even really sure what it did. So after he said it to me a few times, I thought, oh, go on, then I'll get one. They weren't expensive. It was about £40. And after, you know, getting that and installing it, I still had my Icom 2820 for D-Star, and I still had my MD380. So I thought to myself, well, let's get them working using the hotspot, because a Jumbo Spot Pi-Star will do DMR D-Star fusion. And so, literally, overnight, I was on Reflector 1 Charlie D-Star, MD380, I was on the Brandmeister system, and having all these really good contacts around the world. And that made me very, very happy with the hobby again. And you've got to remember that the thing that had done that for me was so-called not real radio. Because I was, you know, connected by the internet. But as we all know, that all these hotspots are connected via Wi-Fi and via your broadband at home. So my answer to the not real radio is, if you removed all the radio technology from this phone that I'm using now, from hotspots, you know, from all the servers that are running Brandmeister and TGIF and CQ UK and 1 Charlie, you would not be able to contact each other around the world without the radio technology that is built into these devices. A hotspot has a 70 centimeter transmitter. You know, your broadband router, and even 4G. When I'm connected via 4G, 3G to all the masts near my home, that is a wireless connection. So effectively, a radio transmitter. And even when you're walking along with your network radio, whether you're on Peanut, whatever, when you lose coverage, you log out, you know? So I would say any radio, any wireless connectivity is a radio and is real radio. Now, if you say, is it amateur radio, is it ham radio, that's different, because you need a ham license. You can only operate on certain bands, and you've got to work within the licensing rules. You don't need that to run Zello, but you do need it with Peanut, and you do need it with Echolink, because it's basically created by ham operators. So my final answer is it real radio when using digital technology and using the internet and the 4G, 5G, 3G, whatever system to have radio communications? Yes, I would say 100% it is real radio. M0FXB.